No one's at the skate park right now. I'm a little surprised, but super hyped right now. So just gonna like cruise around, get my skate legs back. Like, you know, like I said, I haven't skated in a while, so just gonna have to like start grooving, get my flip tricks back and whatnot. But I'm stoked to be back at the park and like stoked to be skating again. There was like one kid on a little snakeboard over there. But otherwise, then, you know, stoked. It's funny, this park has like leaves everywhere and it kind of always gives me the East Coast vibes whenever I'm here. But it's kind of windy today. Oh man, I'm still skating my fogs right now. These are, you know, these things have been still like holding up pretty good, honestly. So still skating these. I'm still skating my flight deck that's now actually over 2 months old. So that's what it's looking like right now. I'm gonna actually do a video on this board. I probably should just do a video on this board in general after now 2 months of skating it. So yeah, that's what today's video might be actually about, is how now this board is over 2 months old, and we'll just kind of just like talk about how it's like doing, how it's performing. I mean, overall, I mean, the tail is looking pretty razor tail at this point. I mean, as this board, it just, these boards are kind of like, they're just, you know, they're kind of thin. They're pretty fragile, honestly, like a little bit more fragile than I thought they were going to be. Even though it is like super strong though still, if that makes sense. Like the corners are just sharp. So you kind of have to be careful if that thing slides into anything. But honestly, it's holding up pretty good, honestly. Like I'm actually really hyped on it. It's like, it's still poppy. By the way, like I'm not sponsored by Powell. This board was from Dan, by the way. I don't know if I like made that clear, but this is like Dan Corrigan gave me this thing. And so I've been skating it ever since then. I just needed a new popsicle. So he was like, here, dude, like take one of mine. So thank you again, dude. But this thing is still feeling pretty poppy. It sounds pretty good still. I think it's kind of sounding a little duddy, but it's not too bad. Honestly, just trying to stretch my legs a little bit right now. I haven't, like I said, I haven't skated in like a little bit, so I'm like just trying to get the legs going again, getting kind of stretchy. I feel so good just to like be skating again. Oh man, it was nice. Going We're gonna start off just like on the flat bar for a little bit, get some things in. I don't even know if you can see my face, or it's probably really close up. I'm not gonna lie, the lip slide and back lip were super scary, but felt good to do them. Haven't done them in a long time, but feels good. Skate legs are coming back. Still waiting for these homies to get here, but you know what? I don't mind. It's been a nice little progression session, but board feels still good. I feel like I'm still getting a lot of pop from it right now. It hasn't felt like weak or anything yet, but yeah. You know what? Just to kind of test the board's pop still, maybe let's try some stuff over the flat bar. Kind of something I normally wouldn't do, but I think this might be a good opportunity just to see how the board's still popping and whatnot. I did a few 180s and whatnot over the rail, felt kind of chill. See what else I can do. But yeah, no, board is definitely feeling poppy still, even though it's like looking pretty razor tail, it's not doing too bad. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to talk about the board kind of 2 months later now. I set this board up October 24th. It is now past December 24th, so this board is now 2 months old, and I've already skated it in January. My first session was, I think, January 1st with this board, so it's definitely led me into the new year. But I just kind of wanted to talk further, like my likes, my dislikes about the board. But yeah, I just really want to talk about like the board's lifespan, especially right now. I'm definitely going to continue to keep skating it. It's definitely not completely dead. It definitely still has some life in it. The only thing I actually changed were my wheels during that 2 month period. I had some 48 millimeters, but I did flat spot them doing something like stupid. So they were flat and I switched them out for these 52 millimeter wheels. So otherwise then it is all the same. I had the Stage 4 Independence, their size 151, and this is a Powell flight deck, 8.5 by 32 and like a quarter, or 32 exactly, 14 and a quarter wheelbase. And so I guess we'll just kind of get into like things I like and I don't like real quick. Overall, like I got used to the shape, but it's still not my favorite shape. The nose and tail are very twin tip, and a lot of people like that. Like it came in handy sometimes, don't get me wrong, but I do like having a bigger nose. I do a lot of nose slide tricks, and I feel like just having a bigger nose benefits me. But for people who don't like having a huge nose, this is probably super chill. It was really great in the sense that when I was doing a lot of shove it tricks, it really didn't matter which side I was skating, so that was kind of nice. The other thing is still the wheelbase. I don't know, the 14 and a quarter is still like, you know, I'm just so used to 14, and it's funny how that little bit makes a difference. But I mean, like I did get used to it eventually. Like I did feel like, I don't know, it felt weird at first, I'm not gonna lie. Like when I was popping, there was some like things that were not consistent, but you know, as skaters we adjust. So now that I'm used to it, I guess it's chill. I did kind of like that subtle, like kind of sharp edge concave, but then in that sense it did make the board a little bit thinner, so I did feel like if my board did shoot into things, it just got dinged up kind of quick. Where like I was riding the C-Rat boards that are handmade, and they were just a little bit thicker, so like it's just kind of a little bit more sturdy, so when those things got kind of bashed around, it didn't get beat up very easily, where this kind of got beat up a little bit more. When I first heard about these, like I was kind of like suspicious about like how it's actually gonna pop and stuff, and like honestly right off the bat it pops good, but I also swear every kind of new skateboard pops pretty good at first. But even 2 months in, it still pops pretty good. Even with my tails being pretty razor tail, they're still holding up pretty good. Like I'm actually surprised how much pop is still left in this board. I guess the big question is, are these boards worth it? I think it's worth it depending on how much you're skating, what you're skating, and you know, even obviously what your budget is. Because I know these are like $100. These are like, this is pretty much the cost of like 2 boards. Like if you're blowing through like 2 boards a month or something, maybe you should try riding one of these. It might be a little bit stronger. It might hold up a little bit better. That's my opinion on that. I don't go through boards too fast, so already at the 2 month mark, it's doing pretty good. I'll probably try to ride it for at least 1 more month just to see how it holds up. And I've been pretty much consistently only riding this board. I have a curb board set up. I still have a C-Rat like 9-inch board set up. So like when I do hit curbs, I'll usually ride that just because like the trucks on this are just too small for me. Like when I hit curbs, I like having a 169. I mentioned these are 151s, so it is a pretty big difference. So I guess the other thing about this board that I didn't like was putting my rails in. I ride rails pretty much on all my boards. I can't think of like when I don't. But just that putting rails into this board was really hard. Like it did not want to screw in very well. And I can kind of see like some of the areas where the rails kind of like lifted up a little bit after like, you know, bashing and grinding down on them a bunch. But like they didn't fall out or anything. So that's like a good sign. Like you can kind of hear like there's a little bit of rattle in some of them, but like for 2 months of me skating on that, like that's pretty good, I guess, in my opinion. Yeah, overall, like I am really happy with this board. Like there's nothing bad to say really about it. Like it works really good. I do want to skate like a regular shop deck, like almost like a regular basic kind of board, just to kind of compare it to this, or at least have some type of like standard or like difference between it. Because I feel like then I'll kind of truly see the difference after a while. Overall, yeah, I mean, it's definitely chill. Wish the shape was a little bit different, but yeah, I mean, I would definitely ride one of these again. But the next time I would do it, I would make sure to like either put something under my rails before I drilled them in, or you know, put some like double-sided tape or something just so they don't kind of poke through. Because just that's like the only thing that really kind of bugs me about this board, is that when you drill your rails in, you got to be careful. The grip tape, you can kind of see where the tip of the screw kind of almost pokes out. It doesn't completely poke out, but yeah. Anyways, that's the only thing that really bothers me. I'll make sure to link the original video I made when I skated this board for the first month, just so you guys can kind of see the comparison.
Comment and let me know what you guys think about these boards. I know Santa Cruz, like the Santa Cruz VX boards, are kind of similar. I honestly just learned about those, so I wouldn't mind trying to get my hands on one of those just to test it out and kind of see like if it's similar, if it's different, if the shapes are kind of similar, you know. But yeah, maybe I'll do one more review before we put this bad boy to rest, and maybe I'll also like leave it at the park or something.